Do you like Japanese cars from the 90s? Well, I do. I love them. And I want one, but trying to get one in Ireland that is clean and for half reasonable money, it's impossible. You're not going to do it. So in these videos, I'm going to take you on my quest to buy a Japanese icon and import it from Tokyo to Tipperary. If you get a sense of nostalgia and you think of cars like the Civic Type R, the Glanza Turbo, the Nissan Skyline, the Mazda RX-7, the Nissan 180SX, you get my drift. And that is not a pun. Then these videos will be for you. I am on a mission to track down one of the cars that I used to idolise as a teenager growing up in rural Ireland. This is long before the Volkswagen Bora or the slammed Passat with the straight through pipe took over the car scene. This is back in a time when eyebrow piercings were still in fashion. When two EK Civic Type R's drag racing in Tullow was my Bebo flashbox. When a large bottle of cider was only €3.80. When you could get a 10-pack of Benson and Hedges for €4.50. When every town and village in the whole country of Ireland was lifting from Thursday to Sunday. When Cahir behind me had about 20 thriving pubs and 2 thriving nightclubs. What a time. It's a distant memory now, but I miss those days. And it pains me that I never had the money to be able to fully join in the crack. Because at the time, you could probably get a twin cam for £3,000, but it may as well have been 3 million because I hadn't a rasher to my name. This area on the outskirts of Cahir is called the V, and this is where all the boy racers, or enthusiasts as they now like to be called, meet up in the evenings. There does be all sorts of car meets here. That bend that you see there, that has seen more sideways action than your favourite mattress actors. The amount of cars I've seen going sideways around here over the years, I couldn't even count them. I couldn't even hazard a guess to how many. So this is the perfect place for me to start my journey. This is the kind of area that sums up Irish car culture. So, as you know by now, I sell German cars. I love German cars. That's all I've interest in dealing in. Now the reason being is, they're obviously nice, they're a bit of luxury, they're reliable, they're in high demand, there's very little bother with them. It's a straightforward business model. Buy a German car, prep it, sell the German car. Very few of them come back. But my love for cars started off with 90s Jap. Your Civic Type R's, your Glanzas, the real boy racer cars. And back in the day, people driving those cars, 9 times out of 10, they were kind of lads who were up to no good. They may have been driving a Toyota, but they were probably selling Mitsubishis. If you know, you know. But I was a bit wilder in my youth. I was hanging around with an unsavoury enough crowd to the detriment of my mother's mental health. But that's where my love for cars started. I remember being 13 or 14. We lived a half an hour away from town on walking distance, so I used to have to walk into town because my mother sure as hell wasn't dropping me in there facilitating my bad behaviour. And I'd hear lads whizzing past me, turbos whistling in their Glanzas and their Starlet GTs. And I used to be fantasising, thinking someday I'll get behind the wheel. But I grew out of that little scumbag phase and I ended up sorting my life out to a certain extent. And I never had money. If I had the money, I probably would have bought one at some stage, but I didn't. So the €2,000 Volkswagen Golf did me. Had no car throughout college, was driving my mother's to get to my part-time job. And then the real world hit me. I had rent to pay and I had responsibilities. And my money squandering on a Jap car just never happened. But that's about to change. So I have a budget. I have 2 set budgets, one for a front wheel drive, if that's the way I'm going to go, or one for a rear wheel drive. For a front wheel drive car, I don't want to be paying any more than 13 grand. Now that's all in, shipped, fully prepped, in immaculate condition, VRT'd the whole lot. So I know I'm not going to get a Type R Civic for that. I'm just not. Not an EK anyway. I don't want an EP. Don't really like them. But I'd be happy with an EG6 SIR or a Glanza V Turbo. I think that's definitely doable. For a rear wheel drive, I know you're not going to get anything cool like an RX-7 or a Supra. It's just not realistic. If you know about Jap cars, you know the prices of that stuff. It's just gone off the wall. But I think for 20 grand, I should be able to get an S14 or a 180SX. Something along those lines. Have it to a some way decent level of condition. VRT shipped and all the rest. Where I'm going to be looking for this JDM icon is the most likely place I'm going to get it from is the USS Tokyo. Their auction on a Thursday usually has a lot of what I'm looking for. So look, I don't have time to be looking on every auction every day, but I'm going to focus in on a Thursday, keep my ear to the ground. I'm probably going to have to look at a lot of bad jokes. I'm probably going to get outbid by some crazy money because some of this stuff just goes for ungodly money. Because the Americans have the price driven through the roof. They're starting to get a horn for all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to have to do a lot of attempts before I actually do get a successful bid, I would say. But yeah, that's where I'm going to look. If I don't have any luck with the Japanese auctions, I'm probably going to look on the private market in the UK. But I want to avoid that because in the UK, there's a lot of very heavily modified stuff. And I'd rather something some way close to original. So fast forward 10 months later, I spent 6 months getting cars checked in Japan, bidding on cars. I can't show you pictures because the agents have asked me not to show pictures online anymore of the auction houses from Tokyo. They don't like it, and all the Jap classics were at the USS Tokyo, so I can't show you exact examples. But I bid on Nissan Silvia S14s. When they went to check them out, they were rough. The ones that weren't rough, they were overpriced, and they were well without the budget. They weren't too bad, to be fair, for what they were. The Silvias are still going for relatively okay money. Hard to get a good one, but if you do, it won't be crazy money. Looked at Hondas, Honda Civics, EG6s, an old 93 1.6 litre Doc VTEC. Nothing special. Lovely car, cool, but nothing special. Bid on loads of these. A grade 3 fairly rough yoke that would probably need a full respray was going for like 20,000 euros in the auction. So by the time I had that imported and VRT'd and prepped and all the rest, you could have been looking at the guts of 30 grand. Just wasn't doable. Found a black Starlet GT that looked nice from the photos, and when my agents went to look at it, the whole thing was sunburnt, needed a full respray. I can show you that one because it's not an auction picture. Very disheartening. Very, very disheartening. So I'd say I checked out and bidded on maybe 30 cars over the space of the 6 months. And to no avail. I was starting to lose hope, and I had actually stopped looking on auctions for a few weeks. Good friend of mine, Dave Kennedy, you might see him on Instagram. He's a PT. He's into his Glanzas and stuff. And I'd been asking him for advice and telling him about them. And just saying I was getting annoyed with the Jap market. Had he any people in Ireland who would sell me something nice? So inquired about a couple of cars in Ireland. Lovely Starlet GT. Just wasn't for me. The mileage was a bit too much. The interior was a bit rough. And a Glanza that came from Japan, but was a grade R when I went to history check it. So they were a non-runner. But got lucky all of a sudden. One Wednesday evening, I was going about my business, not even thinking about the USS Tokyo the following day because I'd kind of given up. And my friend David texted me and he said, "Jack, this is the one. I'm sure you'll all know JDM Auction Watch. They basically import all this stuff for people to order. When something cool is going through the auction. They will give an estimate of what you can buy it for. They will try and buy it if they get inquiries on it or if they get a deposit on it. They will then try and buy it for the right money. If they can get it at the right money, great, happy days. I'm sure sometimes they can't and they go overboard. Dave said, Jack, JDM Auction Watch have highlighted this car that's coming through the auction tomorrow. This is the one, get on it. So I went home and I got on it. So this is it, 1994 Starlet GT Turbo. Grade 4, apparently 74,000 kilometers on the clock. Now if you know your old school Japanese cars with the analog clocks, you know that there's a good chance that some of these have been clocked before. But on the auction sheet, it said verified mileage. That means the clocks didn't look like it's been tampered with. And from the condition of it, I wouldn't be surprised. Starlet GT was well up there for my picks for the front wheel drive. I had 3 choices that I was really going to go for. The Glanza Turbo, the Starlet GT and the EG6 Honda Civic. SIR of course. The Starlet was my number 1 because it was vintage. It was one of the cars that I fell in love with as a child. The Glanza Turbo was actually my first love. They were everywhere in the town of Cahir when I was growing up. But they're not vintage yet, so the VRT would be more expensive on them. And they don't have the old school look. They're still a very bi-racery looking car. The EG6 was well up there as well. Probably would have been on par with the Starlet, but after bidding on so many of them and seeing that the Americans had driven up the price of them to crazy amounts, I just knew it wasn't feasible fairly quickly on. I think it's from the Need for Speed, or sorry, Fast and Furious chain of movies that Americans developed their love for Honda. There's one scene that stands out when the boys are robbing the oil truck and they're in the black EG9s, the saloon ones with the green neon lights underneath it, and they're going in and out of the trucks. It's kind of an iconic scene in car culture. I would say that scene alone is one of the big reasons why Americans love Honda. Like, they just drive up the price crazy. A fairly rough EG6 would have been costing me about 25 grand on Irish plates, and probably would have needed another 6 or 7 grand worth of work. Not doable. So anyway, this is what I ended up with. Absolutely delighted with it. Right, so just give you a little close-up of the condition of it. A grade 4, that's a 1993 or 1994 in Japan, is a lot different to a grade 4, a 2017 retail car. I'm going to turn the car off for a minute. It's quite noisy. So, originally when I was looking at GT turbos, I was so undecided whether to go for the facelift quad light model, which has the split rear lights, or get the one with the green GT badge in the middle there, that was made from 1990 till 92-ish, and had the big blocky headlights. I think I made the right call going for the quad light. I think it's a better looking car. This car does need work, as I said, grade 4, but bumper needs to be done. Door needs a respray. Back bumper probably needs to be done, although you might get away with it. This fairing here needs to be done, and the other door has to be resprayed. I'd say this car was sitting up for a long time. I'd say the guts of 10 years. Look at those tyres. Now, why I think the mileage is genuine. First of all, there's very, very little wear on those seats. Very little wear. Steering wheel also. Very little wear. Pedals, they look fair fresh. Very, very fresh. All the buttons look fresh. The gear stick looks relatively fresh. The back is perfect. I think these were an upgraded extra as well, the speakers you see in the boot there. They're original Starlet speakers. This even still has the flare that it came out of the factory with. Do you know, look at the door handles. I know it's a bit mad to think 74,000 kilometers. I don't know much about this older stuff. Some of you guys might have a better eye for it. Do them clocks look tampered with? Anyone I've asked, they don't seem to think so, but I'd love to know your thoughts on it. So, I think the engine is relatively healthy. It's got a bit of a chug in it at the moment. We have the plug leads there in the passenger seat, and we think that's going to fix it. We've serviced it. I dipped it for oil when it came in. The oil wasn't that bad, like it was black, but not rotten. There was a leak in the power steering pump. We have that stuff gone into it to try and block that up. Hopefully that works. It was a little bit low on coolant. Still a bit low actually. I don't think we topped that up. Got a new timing belt and need to put a new battery into it. That battery is pretty weak, but look, no signs of crash damage. Everything seems original to my untrained eye. We have a new guy starting next week for the purchasing of cars, and he's an ex-panel beater. Maybe he'll be able to pick some dodgy panels on it that I can't see. Start the mixer. She has a bit of a back box on her. Turn these lights on. Oh yeah. Don't know if you can hear, but she kind of chugs away. It's a bit of a misfire in it. So hopefully we can get that sorted. So 6 months I spent looking for this car, and it took another 4.5 to get here. I'm not disappointed. I'm not disappointed at all. Plans for it. The last few months I was debating whether to go a little bit by racery, put like, I can't even remember the names of the alloys back in the day, Rotas or Super Sports or some of that nonsense on it. Tint the windows, coilovers, all that kind of thing. I'm going to keep it as original as possible though, I've decided. I cannot find original alloys for this car. They're going to be very hard got, so those yokes will do fine for the meantime. I'm not going to tint the windows. I'm going to leave them as is. I am going to put normal springs on it. Good set of Brembo discs and pads, or Techstar or something like that. And I got all the other bits from Toyota, the timing belt and the service kit and spark plugs, all that kind of thing. The lead plugs were discontinued, so I was lucky I was able to get them for the motor factors. Could be an issue getting parts for a car this old, I don't know. It's going to be good fun though. The one upgrade I'm definitely going to do to it though is put a new dump valve into it. It's the sound, it's the reason, that sound is why I fell in love with cars. Literally the sound of the dump valve. They do have one as standard, but it's kind of quiet. I want something that you're really going to hear when you put your foot off the accelerator. So in the next video that I do featuring this car, I'm going to show you what way the upgrades are going, what way the bodywork is going, how much the cost of the car was to import. I'll do a full breakdown on what I paid for it in Japan, how much the shipping was, VRT, customs, and how much all the bodywork and repairs were. Is it going to be within the 12 grand budget? I don't know, I'll be cutting it fairly close if it is. I highly doubt it. Parts are not as cheap for this car as I was thinking they were going to be, especially when you're buying them from the main dealer. So I'll keep you informed on that in the next one, and until then, thanks very much for watching.